Good morning. Today I want to read to you sections 45 through 48 of the Spake Christopher, my treatise on non-duality in theory and practice. So let me see if I can share my screen here. And I just have a couple of housekeeping details to take care of real quickly. Oops, that wasn't what I was looking for. Okay, hold on a second. There we go. So, as usual, you can go to www.docminton.com, go down to the best of Doc Minton, and here's the Spake Christopher, and you can download the whole thing in PDF and read it for yourself as you wish. But now I'll continue with chapters 45 through 48. The man then asked, "What is the purpose of life?" I began to answer. Life in this world has only one overriding purpose, and that is to restore unity. Just as the full moon yearns to be united with the sun again, so do we wish to overcome all the distance we feel between ourselves and others. The desire to go from diversity to unity is the primal urge of all creation. However, at an individual level, this drive can take on many forms. For instance, for one person's life, the goal might be to merge one thought with another, and then yet another in order to create new insights and understandings. For another person, the life goal may be to combine different sounds in new ways in order to create beautiful music. And others may need to separate themselves from others and merge with their own thoughts and feelings first in order to discern their own unique identity before they are ready to merge with others. And yet others will separate themselves on the physical level in order to unite with everyone on the spiritual level. However, all of these examples have merging in common, and each merging creates a new world of insight and understanding as a result of pieces of the old world combining to make something new. This leads to endless creation and endless insights and delight as we travel our own path to unity. Hence, may your life be filled with creativity and oneness. Thus spake Christopher. Chapter 46. The man then asked, "What are complexes and how can we deal with them?" I began to answer, "We are designed to perform various combinations of mental and physical actions. And once we have mastered them, we can perform them automatically without having to think about them. And this saves time and energy. For example, think of how tedious it would be if we had to manually contemplate and perform each little muscle action every time we wave or smile at someone. Instead, upon mastery, these actions can be performed immediately without conscious thought, and we call these actions reflexes or habits. In the case of mental actions, though, certain conglomerations of thoughts and emotions can form self-sustaining bundles called complexes. And while these complexes are also reflexes and habits, they are not always positive. For instance, if you have a habit of responding with anger anytime someone disagrees with you, then that habitual reflex is not always going to be beneficial to you or others. Complexes that do not serve us can also be things like a habitual lack of self-worth or a sense that you can win only if you ensure that others lose. Furthermore, it is also problematical if negative complexes are so strong that they usurp your control over your own life. And when this happens, they can also interfere with your own evolution. For me, the first step in dealing with these complexes is to do the type of meditation I've described, where you focus on observing the awareness within. By shifting attention back to the source of attention, You put some distance between your true self and your complexes, and that makes it easier to identify and deal with them. Next, in whatever way that works best for you, you want to further examine your life and your complexes. Identify your negative behavior patterns and change them through an act of will to something more positive. Also, the very act of examining your habits and complexes while remaining situated in your center will help you change them into something else, just as in quantum physics, where the outcome of a measurement is based on probability, and the very act of observing can yield a different result each time. Observing your behaviors can change your behaviors. Thus spake Christopher. Chapter 47. The man then asked, which is better, pleasure or pain? I began to answer. Ultimately, they are both empty experiences in the sense that they are both transitory, and neither is your true self. Nonetheless, pleasure is usually better in that when one experiences pleasure, there's a greater chance that one will be able to move from that experience to the realization that it is the awareness that sits at the center of perception that is what is truly real and enduring. This is more difficult to do when experiencing pain, but nonetheless, pain can also be useful. When you experience pain, then you should also endeavor to reset your focus from the pain to the awareness that perceives the pain. In this regard, a little pain in life can be a good test to let you see if you have mastered this technique. Similarly, pleasure can also be negative if it leads to too great an attachment to whatever object has triggered the pleasure, rather than being a bridge to the true source of pleasure. For example, try this experiment. Call forth some memory of an experience of pleasure, and then notice that whatever objects were present at the time of that pleasure are no longer there. This can prove to you that your pleasure really comes from within, and that the object was only a trigger for that pleasure. And once you realize this, then that trigger will no longer be necessary to call forth the pleasure that already resides within you. Thus spake Christopher. Chapter 48. The man asked, does not awareness go away with sleep? I began to answer. If there were no awareness with sleep, then we would not wake up when someone touches us or we hear a noise. So no, awareness does not go away with sleep. Instead, it is the volume of the exterior world that is turned down so that consciousness can be internalized rather than externalized. During sleep, we often dream, and frequently those dreams are based on the thoughts and experiences we had during the day. But at other times, they represent messages trying to break through into awareness from deeper levels of our being. Occasionally, however, we may experience higher states of consciousness while asleep, and we may even go to that level of consciousness without an object. And when that happens, we reside while asleep in our true nature of pure consciousness without any perception being present. But awareness is always present during sleep, and sometimes it is even the experience of pure awareness that we have while sleeping. Thus spake Christopher. Okay, that is going to end it for today, so let me stop sharing my screen. We'll pick up next time with chapter 49. And I'm back. As usual, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope to see you again. And in the meantime, so long, take good care of yourself, practice kindness to yourself and others, and be well.